Chag Sameach and Gud I had an excellent English teacher in high school who taught us how to read Shakespeare's plays. He showed us how they all follow a similar pattern. Each play had a climax towards the end of Act 3, and our teacher showed us how the rising actions lead to that climactic moment, and the falling actions following that moment bring the play to a resolution. With this Shakespearean structure in mind, I would like to ask, for the story of Yetzias Mitzrayim, where is the climax point? Where does the story reach its most dramatic moment? If you look at how we observe the holiday of Pesach, it seems that climax point is the 15th of Nisan, the beginning of Pesach, the night that Hashem passed over the homes of the Jewish people in Egypt and took them out that very next day. Vayhi be'etzem hayom hazeh yotzu kol tzivos Hashem me'eretz Mitzrayim. It was on that day, the 15th of Nisan, that all of the hosts of Israel left Mitzrayim. And this is why all of the mitzvos we fulfill on Pesach are performed on the first nights. There are no mitzvos unique to Pesach after the first nights. It's all at the beginning. And additionally, while we say a full Hallel on the first nights and days of Pesach, the rest of the holiday only gets a half Hallel. So it seems clear from our observance of the mitzvos of the holiday that the climactic moment is at the beginning of Pesach, at the beginning when we commemorate the leaving from Mitzrayim, the Yetzias Mitzrayim. And yet, if you look at the reactions of Bnei Yisrael, it seems that leaving Mitzrayim was not the climactic moment for them. Their climactic moment doesn't come until several days later when they walk through the Yam Suf, because it's only then that the Jewish people reach their highest level of emunah, of faith. As the pasuk says, which we say every morning, Vayar Yisrael asayad hagalah asher asa Hashem b'Mitzrayim. After they crossed the Yam Suf, they saw the great arm, the great might of Hashem and what He did to Mitzrayim. Vayiru ha'am, and they feared as Hashem. Vayaminu ba'Hashem u'Moshe avdo. And at that moment it says they believed in Hashem and Moshe, His servant. Only after crossing Kriyas Yam Suf, which we commemorate on Shevi'i Shel Pesach, which will be beginning this afternoon. And so we could ask this as a question. Why do we place all the celebration and mitzvahs at the beginning of Pesach, when in fact, for the Jewish people, their experience of redemption, their climactic moment, doesn't happen until the end of Pesach? But instead of asking this as a question, I'd like to make an observation instead. And the observation is that these two different climactic moments represent two different perspectives on a critical idea in Jewish thought. I've spoken many times in the past about the bris, the covenant that exists between Hashem and the Jewish people. It was forged with our avos and imos, and it was fulfilled with the redemption of Bnei Israel from Egypt. Now, details or content of this covenant were reiterated by Hashem to Moshe at the beginning of the story. This reiteration is well known. It comprises the Arba Lashonos Geula, the four expressions of redemption. V'hotzeisi, v'hitzalti, v'ga'alti, v'lakachti. I will take you out, I will save you, I will redeem you, and I will take you. And it's that last one which features something new, I believe, v'lakachti. Because the pasuk says, v'lakachti eschem li le'am, v'hayisi lachem le'elokim. I will take you for me as a nation, and I, Hashem, will become your God. And to me, this appears to contain two separate elements. V'lakachti eschem li le'am on the one hand, v'hayisi lachem le'elokim on the other hand. To me, these two elements capture the two different climactic moments of Pesach. Taking us out of Egypt is captured in V'lakachti eschem li le'am. When Hashem takes us out of Egypt, He takes us for Himself as His people. But then there's another stage, there's another element. And that is when the Jewish people find their faith in God. And when the Jewish people find it, that's captured in the second element, V'hayisi lochem le'lokim. That after He takes us, we, by declaring our faith in Hashem, we become believers in Him as our God. The obvious lesson here is that we have to find ways to express or declare our faith in Hashem. Just like the Jewish people experienced the climactic moment of Yetzias Mitzrayim on the 15th of Nisan, but did not have their own climactic moment of expressing their emunah in Hashem until the 21st of Nisan, after Kriyas Yam Suf, for us, we also have to find ways to express our faith. V'hayisi lochen le'lokim. Whether it's through tefillah or any other means, learning Torah, performing mitzvos. But there's another lesson that I like to focus on for a moment. And that is that faith takes time. The Jewish people did not express their faith until they were ready. And that was okay. There is nothing in the Torah that criticizes the Jewish people for not expressing their faith when they left Egypt. In fact, they had already done so in their deeds, by their actions, when they performed the Korban Pesach before they left. But the ability to realize their faith or verbally express it did not come until several days later, after they crossed the Yam Suf. This final ordeal enabled them to see within themselves something that perhaps they couldn't express before. In other words, sometimes we need to let certain beliefs or feelings percolate. Give them time until we find their true depth. This ordeal, this crisis that we are currently in today, is also presenting us with an opportunity to sit on and think about some of our beliefs and some of the ways in which we practice as Jews. And I would highlight just two interesting pieces of feedback I've gotten from a number of people, which present ideas for us all to sit on and think about as this crisis continues. First, concerns the Seder Experience. A number of people have told me, specifically people who typically go away for Pesach or spend Pesach with a large gathering of family and friends, people have told me how doing the Sedarim with just their immediate family, just their kids, was an entirely new Seder experience like no other. That they were able to listen to and have discussions among themselves like never before. Now, I'm not advocating that everyone now just stay home in future years, just with their nuclear families, don't go away. That's not what I'm saying. Instead, let's just think about this for some time. Let's just think about how we can use these new experiences to guide and inform our engagement with our families on future Pesachs, at future Seders, or in how we celebrate other moments in Jewish life, in the Jewish calendar. Second, I've heard from so many people who don't necessarily come to regular minyan tell me how meaningful an experience they've had davening together with us on Zoom. Virtual prayers together. And again, I'm not highlighting this in order to ask that people just make the commitment to come to Shul every day from now on. Instead, let's just pause and think about this for some time and think about how we can use this experience to inspire us in new and different ways to engage with Hashem and our Jewish experience. These are just two examples of the many possible experiences that I'm sure many of you have had during this time. And my message is, take some time and think about these experiences during this crisis, and think about what they can teach us about ourselves. And finally, please let me know what you're thinking about. If you're able to share with me or others the insights, the observations that you've made during this time, I know it will inspire new ways of thinking and acting within all of us. May we all capture that very same climactic moment of the Jewish people that they experienced at Kriyas Yam Suf, Vayaminu b'Hashem u'v'Moshe Avdo, and utilize them to inspire us and sustain us further. Good Yontif.